Let's start at Old Trafford, though. Michael Carrick is on the verge of a sensational return to Manchester United. The former midfielder is expected to be in charge for Saturday's Manchester derby. Our football correspondent, Rob Dorset, is already there at Old Trafford and joins us now. Rob, very good evening. Right, what do we know?
Well, it's getting closer, Mike, is what I'm being told. My sources are saying that it's getting ever closer to an official confirmation that Michael Carrick is the new interim head coach of Manchester United. But that's something, in truth, that we knew very late last night. That's when there was a verbal agreement between Carrick and the Manchester United bosses over pretty much all the terms of his contract and the details therein. But I think you can understand why today has been a long and logistically difficult process for Manchester United, because it's not just Michael Carrick's contract that they're trying to get sorted and signed, with lawyers on both sides poring over the terms, of course. It's the 4 new members of his backroom staff as well. And those are Steve Holland, which came as a bit of a surprise to us when we heard that this morning. Gareth Southgate's assistant with England for 4 major tournaments. Jonathan Woodgate, Travis Binion and Johnny Evans. All of those, of course, have to have new contracts and new terms drawn up with the signatures of all of them and their representatives included before Manchester United are in a position to announce that, yeah, the whole new team is in place. And my impression is that United want to do that. They want to announce it in one big lump rather than just confirming that Michael Carrick has got his contract sorted out right now. And I think the reason United are trying to get this done as soon as possible is they want it done tonight if they possibly can, so that all of that new coaching team is in position at Carrington training ground tomorrow morning, ready for the return of the Manchester United squad. The players have been off on Monday, they've been off today as well. They're back in tomorrow, and so they want that coaching staff in position, all signed up and ready to go, so that the players can hit the ground running, because they have a huge game, remember, here on Saturday lunchtime against Manchester City, a game that's crucial for Manchester United's hopes of making Europe and hopefully the Champions League from the boss's perspective here, but also to get off to a winning start and a good start for Michael Carrick. He will only have 3 training days to prepare for that game, and by the way, his next game after Manchester City, the small matter of Arsenal away at the Emirates. So a bit of a baptism of fire for the new man and his coaching staff. But first things first, United's bosses want to get this over the line. I think they're close, and they are hoping to get the announcement confirmed tonight.
If they do, well, you know that you'll bring it to us first. Rob Dorset, live from Manchester United. Thank you. Right, Carvey, why are United treading water and bringing in an interim? Why don't they just go and get who they want? They're Manchester United.
Good question. I think because they're in a desperate situation. I think very little has gone right for United since Sir Alex Ferguson left. I think there are major problems with the ownership structure at the club. Ineos, since they've come in, have made a series of wrong calls. And if you're a United supporter, you just have to hope that this one is going to work out. Now, I think the point you're making is, why do United need another interim manager when somebody like Maresca is available, somebody potentially like Xabi Alonso is available? Shouldn't they be going all out to try and get the man that they want? For instance, if they want Marco Silva at Fulham, OK, he's contracted to Fulham, but he may have a release clause, or you may be able to do a deal with Fulham to get him out. It just feels like another wasted season. And now we're going to have the situation where if Michael Carrick gets them into the Champions League places, say they finish in the top 5, what are they going to do in the summer? Are they going to stick with Michael Carrick, or are they going to appoint a new manager? And also, who is going to want to come to Manchester United in the summer when there are going to be other big jobs available as well? I don't think it's as simple as, let's just wait until the summer and then we can get Thomas Tuchel, or we can get Luis Enrique, or, you know, we can get Oliver Glasner. These managers are going to have other options as well. And who knows what position United are going to be in the summer. Will these managers want to come to United?
Right. Michael Carrick got sacked by Middlesbrough in the Championship. He's now got the United job. What is this obsession with their former players?
Another good question. I don't know. Does it work? Would Michael Carrick have got this job if he hadn't played for Manchester United? Because if you look, would
he have got any other job in the Premier League?
If you look at the Championship table, Middlesbrough finished 10th last season. In his first season, they finished 4th. Second season, they finished 8th. 10th last season. They lost 18 games. They won 18 games, lost 18 games. So with all due respect to Michael Carrick, there is nothing on his CV that would say that he would be on the short list to get the Manchester United job. The reason he's getting the Manchester United job is they need somebody. They need somebody. Because losing Ruben Amorim was unexpected, the way that all ended. But then if you're a United fan, you're asking yourself, what is the point of having this whole structure in place if we don't have a contingency plan for the manager leaving? For instance, Chelsea, Enzo Maresca left within minutes. Everybody who follows Chelsea, journalists, knew that Liam Rosenior was going to be taking over. So where is Manchester United's plan? Where is the contingency plan? Where is the plan B? Because I guarantee you it was never in the Ineos script for Michael Carrick to become the Manchester United manager. Having said that, I wish him all the best and I hope that he makes a success of this job. And if he does, I think he'll have a good chance of getting it on a full-time basis.
Do you know what? Let's park Manchester United because we think that announcement is coming sometime soon. When it does, we'll go back to it. But in the meantime, let's move on to the big deal of the last 24 hours. Conor Gallagher looks like he's on his way to Spurs from Atletico Madrid. Is he a Spurs player yet, Michael?
Not yet, Mike, but potentially news tomorrow. Late stages of his medical, sign around a 5.5-year deal. Of course, this was out of the blue last night. The interest and admiration for Gallagher has never been out of the blue. He automatically will go into that Tottenham side and could easily make his debut from the starting 11 on Saturday against West Ham United. And yeah, it's a big signing, much needed signing for Tottenham Hotspur, and it's very close.
Why Spurs and not Villa?
I think Spurs want him more, Spurs need him more. I think Aston Villa undoubtedly were interested, but they wanted a loan plus an option, whereas for the player and also Atletico, it makes much more sense to have the security and the certainty of a permanent deal for £34 million and the player getting a 5.5-year contract. I feel a little bit sorry for Chelsea fans, because Chelsea fans love Conor Gallagher. They never wanted him to leave in the first place. I think Chelsea had to sell him for PSR reasons. So I think it's going to be a bitter pill to swallow for Chelsea supporters to see him in a Spurs shirt, especially the next time the two sides play each other.
In May.
In May.
Michael, under Daniel Levy, there would have been, it had been deals being done, brinkmanship, and the fact is he'd probably be wearing claret and blue now because they'd have wasted the opportunity. Is this a new approach by Spurs in the market? There's a player, we identify him, we go get him.
Well, the fans will certainly hope so. I mean, it's a massive game Saturday against West Ham. There's planned fan protests with a number of fans' organisations before the game. Remember, Daniel Levy didn't own Tottenham. Enoch, the Lewis family, own Tottenham. Daniel Levy was the chairman, but he's left now. That's 25 years being in charge of a football club. We had a lot of transfer windows, a lot of clubs you negotiate with, so this was always going to be a very different transfer window. All I'll say is, last summer, Morgan Gibbs-White, no matter whose fault it was public, it was for weeks. Then Eze. Then he goes and scores a hat-trick in the North London derby. Yeah. And I don't think he's done much else since. So it's people like prodding Spurs, So it's a refreshing win at the moment for Spurs and, in particular, Thomas Frank. I'm going to the press conference on Thursday. Now, he always walks in smiling, but he will be smiling because he'll have a very good player, hopefully, in his side by then.
Carve says he feels a bit sorry for Chelsea fans.
Why?
What do Spurs fans make of the fact that the former Chelsea captain will be walking through the door?
Couldn't care less. I mean, I've seen a number of Chelsea fans who are really angry about it, but Chelsea and Arsenal trade players like football stickers. So it's always a bizarre. I mean, Chelsea have such a deep-rooted hatred for Spurs, it's untrue. I mean, Carve will tell you. But look, at the end of the day, there will be some Chelsea fans as well who will say, well, it wasn't down to Conor Gallagher to leave. PSR, and they loved him. And it's not as if Spurs are signing him from Chelsea. It's irrelevant in my eyes. I think, look, this is Tottenham are signing a good character, homegrown, which Tottenham really do need as well, an England international, which Spurs have lost under Pochettino. They had sort of like 5 or 6 players in the England squad. You had Rose, Walker, Dyer, Trippier, Kane. Now, it's on the others. It's all Arsenal players. Saka, Madueke, you know. So they need to get some English players back. He's a leader, box to box. And as I say, he goes straight into that Tottenham 11. Maybe it would take him a few weeks to get into that very successful Villa 11. And he's thinking, World Cup soon. I'll need to get into a team now. And I don't care what anybody says. I don't care where Spurs are in the league. They've got a huge fan base. They're on telly nearly every week. And they're a massive football club.
OK.
That is true.
All right. So we've got him in. But like I said to you yesterday when you were on Zoom, all those things you said about him, you never once said he's creative, because that's not what he is. You need Spurs need a creative midfielder, surely. Are they going to get one in this window?
I think he's a bit of everything as well. Like, you know, he's a ball winner, he's box to box. I mean, João Paulinho, I think, has been a pretty successful loan signing, but he can't do everything. They needed to bring someone in, and that is a quality player they're bringing in. In terms of a forward, yes, I do believe. I mean, but they do need a forward. They've lost. Kulusevski's out probably till April. Kudus, who I think has been a good signing from West Ham, he's out till April. Oh no, Brennan Johnson, we've sold him to Palace. Happy New Year. But you know, these things happen in football. So they're probably looking at someone on the left-hand side, but are they maybe looking at someone on the right-hand side now, or someone who can do both? There's still plenty to do, but Spurs fans will be very happy with this signing.
All right, so he's in, £34 million. Are they backing Thomas Frank by making that signing, and if they bring other people in?
Well, what interests me is that he's been admired by the football club for some time. Ange Postecoglou wanted to bring him in. So whether it's Vinay and Venkatesham and other Tottenham leaders, scouting departments have said, Thomas, we've got a good chance. We think we can go to Atletico with a cash deal. They don't want a loan with obligations. They want cash. Would you fit him into your side? He's not going to say no. I mean, there are reports that Thomas Frank has spoke to him personally. I'll ask him that Thursday. But Thomas Frank, whether it was Thomas Frank or it's a collective agreement, shall we bring in Conor Gallagher? I'm sure the answer from Thomas Frank would be yes. OK, all right, let's talk West Ham now. Lucas Paqueta been making the news because he wants out of there. Carve, we've seen this situation when players are unsettled, they want to go. Any danger that Paqueta could down tools?
I can't get inside his head this evening and tell you what he's thinking, but the information we've had today is that he is ready to play for West Ham in this crucial game against Spurs on Saturday. Now, that shouldn't be breaking news, that a West Ham player is willing to play for West Ham. But the background to this is, of course, that he missed the last game, the FA Cup game against QPR on Sunday. He wasn't 100% fit for that game. We're being told that he is 100% fit now. But the big picture is that he does want to return to Brazil for personal reasons. Now, I'm being told that West Ham are very reluctant to sell him. I've been told that it's very unlikely that he will be allowed to move to Flamengo this window. And don't forget, the Brazilian window doesn't actually close until March. I was told never say never, but it's unlikely that he will leave this window, but he certainly wants to go to Brazil. So if not this window, then almost certainly next summer.
Michael, how on earth can they keep an unhappy player?
It's a very good question, but he's a quality player.
Doesn't want to be there.
I know, but he's a West Ham player. He's got a responsibility to be there. He's a senior player, and if he were to leave West Ham for a cut price fee, West Ham fans would probably be even more worried. Because not only have they got to bring in more forwards and defence on top of Paqueta, they'd have to replace Paqueta. It's quite a turnaround, because at Nottingham Forest, when he scored that goal, it was, the phone sign, what a load of rubbish, I'm not going anywhere. Yeah, I think it'd be a big worry if West Ham were to sell a player of his ability now.
I think he is sincere about the fact that he would be potentially moving for personal reasons, because we know for a fact that some big clubs in the Premier League were also interested in signing him, but his advisors have said he's not interested in that. He only wants to return to Brazil.
Right, we have breaking news from Manchester United. I think we know what it is. Let's go back to our football correspondent, Rob Dorset. Rob.
Michael Carrick is the Manchester United interim head coach until the end of the season. The club has just confirmed that with a statement that's been sent to me. I can read you a bit of the statement actually as I've just got it in my hand now. Manchester United is delighted to announce the appointment of Michael Carrick as head coach of the men's first team until the end of the 2025-26 season. They point out that he played 464 games for the club, won 5 Premier League titles, the FA Cup, 2 League Cups, the UEFA Champions League, the Europa League and the FIFA Club World Cup. I think it makes it very, very clear that the people we've been talking about all day in terms of his backroom staff are indeed taking over and will be joining Michael Carrick at Carrington's training ground tomorrow, where they will take the squad for the very first time. Steve Holland, which was a little bit of a surprise to us, we have to say. Jonathan Woodgate, who worked very closely with Michael Carrick at Middlesbrough, of course. Travis Binion, who's been a long-term youth coach here at Manchester United and is very highly thought of. Johnny Evans as well, who was only brought back to the club last week to assist Darren Fletcher, and Craig Mawson as well. By the way, Darren Fletcher, I've had it confirmed to me, will return to Manchester United's under-18 squad, where he was before he stepped up to take charge of the first team. The impression I get, reading between the lines, is that that's what Darren Fletcher chose rather than being involved in Michael Carrick's backroom staff here. I've got some quotes for you as well from Michael Carrick himself, which I think is pretty significant. Carrick has said, having the responsibility to lead Manchester United is an honour. I know what it takes to succeed here. My focus is now on helping the players to reach the standards that we expect at this incredible club, which we know that this group is more than capable of producing. I've worked with a number of the players already and I've obviously continued to watch the team closely in recent years. I have total belief in their talents, dedication and ability to be successful here. There is still a lot to fight for this season. We are ready to pull everyone together and give the fans the performances that their loyal support deserves. Interesting that Michael Carrick is saying there that there is an awful lot still to fight for this season. A lot of Manchester United fans, of course, don't feel that way, having gone out of both the FA Cup and the EFL Cup at the very early stages. No European football for them. There is only the Premier League left for Michael Carrick and the squad to focus on. But crucially, they are 7th in the Premier League right now. They're within touching distance of not just the Europa League and the Europa Conference League, but also the Champions League. And I think the bosses here at Manchester United and Michael Carrick will have spoken about that as a potential target to turn what's been a very difficult season into a huge success if Manchester United could return again to the top table of European competition. I'll just finish with a bit of a statement from Jason Wilcox, the Director of Football, the man who's led this search right from the very start, of course, and who had the task of sacking Ruben Amorim 7 days ago after that relationship between Director of Football and head coach had become irreconcilable. Jason Wilcox says today, Michael is an excellent coach and knows exactly what it takes to win at Manchester United. He is ready to lead our talented and determined group of players for the remainder of the season as we continue to build the club towards regular and sustained success. So Manchester United have their man. They have 4 experienced coaches as well, 3 of whom are very well known to the club. They have Steve Holland, who is a brilliant tactician and a brilliant coach on the training field. He's proved that with England, he's proved that with Chelsea. But crucially, can they improve performances and results on the pitch? And can they get past that baptism of fire with Manchester City here at Old Trafford on Saturday lunchtime in the Manchester derby, and then Arsenal away to follow it? Michael Carrick has an awful lot to say to his players when he meets them for the first time at Carrington tomorrow morning, doesn't he?
Does indeed. Rob Dorset live from Old Trafford with the breaking news that Michael Carrick is Manchester United's interim head coach. Thank you very much, Rob. Right, Rob said it. They've out of both cups. They're not in Europe. Is it top 5 or bust for Manchester United, Carvey?
I think it's really important for them to get in the Champions League. Financially, of course, they need the cash injection that they would get from being in the Champions League. But I think there are deeper structural problems at United. I think Michael Carrick, fantastic player, but the bottom line is United are kicking the can down the road. We're going to be in this situation again in the summer. where if you're a United fan, you are going to have to put your faith and trust in Ineos, who are running the club at the moment, picking the right person to be the new manager. It's another wasted season, and it's sad to see a club as big as Manchester United, unless you're a Manchester City fan or a Liverpool fan
Or a Leeds fan.
or a Chelsea fan, going through what they're going through at the moment. But it's been going on for a long time. I've said it before. I personally think it doesn't matter who's in charge, who's the manager, who's the head coach, who's the interim head coach. I've been saying it for 20 years and I'm bored of saying it. The problems at Manchester United are to do with the ownership model at the club. Personally, I think unless that changes, nothing is going to change.
We were talking off camera about what happens if Man United get in the top 5, about the interim role, but on the website, he's named head coach until the end of the season. There's no word of interim, is there? And if he were to get in the Champions League, he'd have a great case to stay. He'd have a great case to stay.
Yeah, it's interesting that.
But I've never known a club with so...
But that might be semantics. Head coach until the end of the season is effectively interim head coach, but we can argue about that. Rob Dorset said, Jason Wilcox, he led the search, he said. Carvey, I put it to you that in his role, he shouldn't have to lead any search because he should have had someone in place already.
And also, I think your question is a little bit loaded because, how much of a search is it that you end up with it either being Ole Gunnar Solskjaer or Michael Carrick, without being disrespectful to either of those two players who were absolutely incredible players for Manchester United. But you would think a club as big as Manchester United would have a contingency plan. They would have a plan B. Chelsea, when Enzo Maresca left, we all knew that Liam Rosenior was going to get that job. What was the contingency plan at Manchester United for the manager leaving, for Ruben Amorim leaving? Was it to turn to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer or Michael Carrick? Most people would say that's not a particularly detailed, well thought through plan. I think, the situation with Michael Carrick reminds me a little bit of the situation when Frank Lampard went back to Chelsea. A legendary figure going back as a manager until the end of the season. It could go one of two ways. Either Carrick could be successful, get them into the Champions League, get the job full time, or it could be what happened under Frank Lampard, where he went back and afterwards he turned around and said, what I found at that club was not what I expected. There were big problems at that club. I couldn't recognise it from the club where I played. So it could go one or two ways. Turning to an ex-player doesn't always work out. And sometimes the problems are far too big for an ex-player to fix. Certainly an ex-player who's only got the job on an interim basis until the end of the season.
Giggs, Carrick, Van Nistelrooy, Solskjaer, Carrick again. I've never known so many ex-players have so many interim roles, but is it just the Man United factor? I mean, the cameras and the directors can't help but see Alex Ferguson clapping every time they're at Old Trafford. Yeah.
I'll give you an ex-player for you. Xabi Alonso. Could he, now he's available, maybe go to somewhere where he's played before? Oh, we'll talk about that when we come back on The Transfer Show. See you in a bit. Hello again, this is The Transfer Show, and the breaking news in the last few minutes is that Manchester United have confirmed the appointment of Michael Carrick as head coach until the end of the season. Now, he's spoken just in the last few minutes and said this: having the responsibility to lead Manchester United is an honour. I know what it takes to succeed here. My focus is now on helping the players to reach the standards that we expect at this incredible club, which we know that this group is more than capable of producing. I've worked with a number of the players already and have obviously continued to watch the team closely in recent years. I have total belief in their talents, dedication and ability to be successful here. There's still a lot to fight for this season. We're ready to pull everyone together and give the fans the performances that their loyal support deserves. Well, there's a game this evening, a really important one. Newcastle host Manchester City in the first leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final. You can see it live over on Sky Sports Football right now. Of course, goals as they go in the Sports Centre right after us on Sky Sports News. Now, Newcastle in cracking form. They head into tonight's game off the back of 3 consecutive wins in the Premier League and that penalty shootout victory over Bournemouth in the FA Cup at the weekend. Pope returns to the team in place of Ramsdale. Miley plays at right back in place of the injured Tino Livramento. Sandro Tonali drops to the bench with the captain Bruno Guimaraes back in the starting 11 and Johan Wissa starts up front.
Bruno, this competition has brought you so much happiness, so much joy over the last 2 or 3 years. Does that help you on an occasion like tonight?
Yes, give you more confidence. I think we're in a great moment so far. But play Manchester City is always a difficult one. 2 legs, first at home, you have to play well. And but of course, the joy that brought us during the last 2-3 years was amazing, and I want to repeat it once again.
Like you mentioned there, home tonight. What's a good result to take to the Etihad?
Well, it was a difficult one, but definitely a win. We want to win the game, no matter 1-2. Just want to win and get an advantage for the second leg.
And the last couple of games you've had have been so dramatic here. What has that taken out of the legs? But also, what has it given you in terms of momentum and a feel-good factor?
Yeah, it is many ways to win the game. And in the end is always grateful, but not every game because it costs you a lot of energy. But yeah, we can't complain about winners or win all the way. But if you can have 1-0, 2-0, gonna be good today.
Good luck.
Cheers, thanks.
Well, Erling Haaland and Antoine Semenyo start for City. They've drawn their last 3 in the Premier League, but of course they did put 10 past a side that plays at St James Park in the FA Cup on Saturday. Well, James Trafford will be in goal. He's in for Donnarumma. You know, Pep likes to change his goalkeepers for the cup competitions. Nico O'Reilly could be playing in midfield if you look at that. Semenyo is in, as I say, because of that rule change, and he'll play alongside Jeremy Doku and Erling Haaland. Here is Mateus Nunes.
Well, Mateus, with the energy they bring, with the atmosphere they can create, how big a test is this for you and your teammates tonight?
I mean, we know it's always tough here. Like you said, it's always very, very intense here. I mean, the players they have, the stadium, the atmosphere. But we come here to win the game, and that's what we're going to do.
I was going to ask, do you talk about what would be a good night, given that the second leg is at the Etihad in a few weeks, or is it just the focus on win the game, nothing else?
Just focus on this game. I mean, there's no point in thinking about the next game if we don't win this game, because if we win this game, we are closer to qualifying. So, I mean, that's what we were trying to do.
And how satisfied have you been with your own form of late? I mean, you're going to play, whether it's Barnes or Gordon, you're going to face a good winger tonight, but the manager's talked about you a few times recently, improving almost with every game in that position.
I mean, I feel like I'm comfortable in that position already. Played a lot of games there. I mean, also helps having the teammates that I have. I mean, everyone is so good. So, yeah, I just feel comfortable there now.
Play well tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah, it should be some game. Goals as they go in with us in the Sports Centre next. Right, when we come back, we've got a cracker for you. We're going to talk Xabi Alonso. We're going to talk Jurgen Klopp. And we're going to talk Mark Gay. See you in a moment.
Right now, we could have a manager transfer show in the summer.
Yeah.
Honestly, you got Pochettino, Tuchel, you've got a number of managers who are going to be out. And I don't want to mention managers who have got contracts at clubs now, but there are some who probably won't sign new deals at Premier League clubs. Actually, that's a great idea. Let's do a manager transfer show. But no, like he will be discussed by a number of big clubs, I'm sure, in the Premier League over the coming weeks.
Michael just touched on his reputation. It's being briefed that he couldn't manage the big names at Real Madrid. If that's true, how damaging is it to get another top job somewhere else in Europe?
I don't think it's damaging at all, because Real Madrid are a special case. The manager is not the most important person at Real Madrid. The most important person is the president, and then it's the big egos, the Galacticos in the dressing room, and then it's the manager. What went wrong for Xabi Alonso is that he tried to make Real Madrid more of a team. He tried to make them more disciplined. He tried to make the players trap back and defend more. And he fell out with some big egos in that dressing room. I think that is what did for him. And I thought that you could see all that at the end of the Super Cup on Sunday in Saudi Arabia. At the end of the game, Xabi Alonso was trying to get his players to form a guard of honour for the Barcelona players. And there was Kylian Mbappe on the pitch saying to his teammates, no, don't form a guard of honour, let's go back to the dressing room. And instead of listening to their manager, the players listened to Kylian Mbappe. And it looked like the writing was on the wall then and there. Now, I don't think there's a dressing room in the Premier League which is anywhere near as political and ego-driven as the dressing room at Real Madrid. So, simple answer to your question is, I think if he got a chance in the Premier League, he would be a big, big success. And to echo what Michael said, just because you failed at Real Madrid doesn't mean you're a failure.
All right, let's expand it then. So you're saying, yep, he could end up in the Premier League. Michael, should Arne Slot be worried?
Or Thomas Frank?
Oh, blimey. Well, look, I think Arne Slot, let's start it off here. No one expected him to win the league last season. Well done to him for that. But it's not me just saying it. They've not been very good champions, have they? And it's not been a good title defence whatsoever. They've picked up, for sure. And I like the way he's handled the Mo Salah situation. The fact that we're not talking about him on any of our shows, I think, is a bit of credit needs to be given to Arne Slot there. He diffused the situation, played him in the penultimate game before he went to AFCON. I think he deserves a bit of credit for that. However, if they go on a bit of a bad run again, things don't go well maybe in the Champions League, there will be fans, online, social media, podcasts, you name it. Naturally, his name will be brought up.
OK, so that was all about Liverpool. What about Spurs?
Well, they've got a manager, Cav. They've got a manager. But, I mean, they're going to get the band back together. Teddy Sheringham, Darren Hand and Nick Barmby, just like at Man United.
All right. So, Alonso is available. Could Jurgen Klopp be available? Well, he's a candidate to take over in the summer at Real Madrid, supposedly. But today, the former Liverpool manager distanced himself from what would be a sensational return to football.
Hat es tatsächlich, aber nicht aus Madrid. Aber tatsächlich gab es natürlich ein paar Leute, die gedacht haben, sie müssten mich direkt darauf ansprechen. Also erstmal ist es, glaube ich, ein weiteres Zeichen dafür, dass irgendwas da gerade nicht hundertprozentig richtig ist da draußen. Wenn Xabi Alonso, der jetzt über 2 Jahre in Leverkusen gezeigt hat, was er für ein herausragendes, ich glaube, in dem Alter darf man so sagen, und bei der Anzahl der Jobs, die er hat, ein herausragendes Trainertalent ist und dann ein halbes Jahr später bei Madrid gehen muss. Zeigt verschiedene Dinge. Zum einen haben wir irgendwie keine Zeit mehr in der heutigen Zeit und zum anderen sind die Ansprüche bei Real natürlich riesengroß. Aus so einer Emotion heraus, gestern Abend Pokalfinale verloren zu haben gegen Barcelona. So eine Entscheidung zu treffen, man hat die Gerüchte, glaube ich, schon eine Weile gehört. Und jetzt, und ich weiß gar nicht, ob deine Frage darauf hinausgeht, aber hat natürlich mit mir gar nichts zu tun. Und hat in mir auch nichts ausgelöst, falls das die Anschlussfrage gewesen wäre. Ich war überrascht. Das stimmt, ich war wirklich überrascht. Und dann haben ein paar Leute geschrieben und ich habe unterschiedliche Emojis zurückgeschickt.
So, Carver, he says no. Could you see him at Real Madrid?
I did actually understand some of that because I've got a German O-level. But
see, by saying O-level, you've already dated yourself. But carry on.
Good point.
Young at heart.
I think it's difficult to see Jurgen Klopp managing Real Madrid. Everything Jurgen Klopp stands for, his philosophy, I think that is something that would be a strange fit at Real Madrid. Having said that, our colleagues at Sky Germany, obviously who have very good contacts across this story, what they're reporting today is never say never. They believe that Real Madrid are interested in taking Jurgen Klopp in the summer, and they believe that Jurgen Klopp perhaps may in some shape or form be interested. That is what Sky Germany are reporting today. Okay. They're not saying that he's going to become the next Real Madrid manager. He's happy doing the job that he's doing at Red Bull, but I think if Real Madrid do contact your agent, it is a conversation that you do have with your agent.
Okay. Is Mark Gay going to have a conversation with his agent about going to Bayern Munich?
I think he's already had those conversations, because Bayern Munich are the one club out of the 4 interested clubs who are interested in signing Mark Gay, who can speak to him this month. Because he's out of contract in the summer, he can speak to foreign clubs. And I think what Bayern Munich have been saying to him is, Mark, please do not sign for anyone else now. Wait, hold on, and we will take you in the summer. This is going to be an incredible opportunity for you to join one of the biggest clubs in the world. The only issue for Bayern Munich is that Manchester City want him as well, Liverpool want him as well, and of course Arsenal potentially want him as well in the summer. But our information is that Manchester City may be tempted to try and sign him this month. They may try and do a deal with Crystal Palace, maybe come up with an offer that is too good for Crystal Palace to turn down, and then it would be up to Mark Gay to decide what he wants to do. But he's under a lot of pressure to stay where he is until the summer.
Okay. All right. We have got a really, really interesting game going on this evening. Kicks off at 8 o'clock. Carabao Cup semi-final first leg. Manchester City are the visitors to St James's Park to take on Newcastle. Antoine Semenyo, despite the fact he's played for Bournemouth in this competition, starts for City, and Johan Wissa starts for Newcastle. Goals as they go in the Sports Centre from 8 o'clock. We'll build up to that, and we've got the rest of the transfer news coming up next. Hello again. There's more than transfers tonight. Carabao Cup action this evening. Newcastle versus Manchester City, the first leg of the semi-final. Here are both managers.
Well, Eddie, you've had some special nights here in the last 4 and a bit years, not least at this stage of this competition. What will it take to deliver another one of those this evening?
It will take everything, every ounce of energy, quality that we have to win this tie. I mean, it's going to be, I think, a great thing for us, a great opportunity for us tonight against a very, very good team over 2 legs. Be the biggest challenge I think we can have.
Is it key in the early part of the match to control the pace of it, control the tempo as best as possible?
Yeah, but it's not easy against that team. The transition with Murphy, with Gordon, with Wissa, with Joelinton from in the middle. So, yeah, we know that it's a tough place, but at the same time, it's always a part of the results. Always we perform really well here.
Goals as they go in with us. Well, Manchester City captained by Bernardo Silva. He starts tonight. Out of contract in the summer. Will he be off?
Well, Sky in Italy are reporting that Juventus are interested in signing him in the summer. Form an orderly queue if you want him, because they're saying also that Benfica, Galatasaray, Barcelona and AC Milan want him. He has not made a decision on his future yet. He's fully focused on City for the time being.
All right, we're running out of time. I want to cram a lot in. Let's talk Arsenal defence. A lot of players in their that they've got in their stable. Is Ben White going to be one that goes?
I don't think so at the moment. All we can say is a number of clubs in the Premier League and Europe are keeping an eye on his situation. He's had injuries, and Jurriën Timber's form has been fantastic. That's why he's been restricted to 4 Premier League starts this season. But I have to say, Mike, I mean, Arsenal could win not just the Premier League this season, but a few trophies. They're really going for it domestically as well. They're doing brilliant in Europe. He's made some excellent signings, Arteta, especially in defence. I think I'd be surprised if this one was to happen. Oh, look, just as you say it, there's a graphic for you. But, I mean, look, that tells me he's bought very well at the back, Mikel Arteta, and recruited well. What I think he's done well here is that a lot of these central defenders can actually play on the right-hand side, left back as well. He's got good cover. But I have to say, he'll be immensely proud of Ben White. He's probably one of the first he sort of signed in the new Mikel Arteta era, getting rid of Ozil, Aubameyang, bringing his own players in. He's been a success.
He has indeed. Right, I want to talk Aston Villa. Daniel Marlon. It looks like he might be off. Where could he go?
Well, Roma are really confident that they are going to sign him. There are reports in Italy that he could arrive there tomorrow. It will be a loan plus an option to buy him for around 25 million euros. I think Roma are being very busy because they've also about to complete a deal to sign a young 18-year-old striker who plays for Marseille, French striker called Robinho Vaz, and they're paying around 20 million euros for him as well.
Right, I'm going to throw some names at you. Eric Dyer.
Eric Dyer, there have been reports that West Ham are interested in signing him. He moved to Monaco as a free agent in the summer. He's been injured for a while. He's back playing now. We're being told that Monaco do not want to sell him. But interesting, because some people are looking at it and thinking they got him on a free. He would have got probably a really, really good deal. And Monaco perhaps thinking that now could be a good time to cash in on him. But our information is that Monaco have no plans to sell, and he's happy in the south of France.
Right, real quick, Christopher Ayer, Carve.
Christopher Ayer, Wolfsburg, one of the clubs are interested in signing him from Brentford. They desperately need to sign centre-backs because they lost 8-1 to Bayern Munich at the weekend. The message we're getting is that Brentford's position is that he is not for sale and he's got a contract until 2028.
Michael, Alex Toth.
Yeah, that's from our colleague Mark McAdam. Bournemouth continuing talks with Ferencváros over a possible move for Alex Toth. Initial 8.6 million offer rejected. The offer was 7 million plus add-ons. Robbie Keane, who we know very well, is saying no, not happening. We'll wait and see.
10 seconds. Jack Harrison.
Jack Harrison, Fiorentina are in talks to sign him. I think Leeds are willing to let him go. But does he want to move to Fiorentina? Only won 2 games in the league this season and they're 18th in Serie A.
I tried to put you two under pressure and you